It's a good turnout this morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming. I'm pleased to be here today and to welcome Minister Judy Foote and the federal minister responsible for, of course, Newfoundland and Labrador. And along with Minister Foote, I'm happy to be joined by a number of our federal MPs from the Liberal caucus. They are joining us here today, and as we continue to work with our government on an ongoing basis for the benefit of Newfoundland and Labrador. On behalf of our residents, I appreciate your government, the Prime Minister, and Minister Morneau's decision today that will benefit our province during a very challenging time. I want to acknowledge just how significant today's announcement is. The decision today will benefit our province and its people during what is a very difficult time in our history. As we sit here today, this demonstrates to the people of our province the true partnership and the cooperative relationship that we enjoy with the federal government at this time. I will now turn things over to Minister Foote.
Thank you, Premier Ball, and it is indeed a good morning. Good to be here. Good morning to all of you. I especially want to acknowledge my federal colleagues, Goody Hutchings, Seamus O'Regan, Yvonne Jones, and Nick Whalen. Unfortunately, Ken MacDonald and Scott Sims couldn't join us this morning, but they're certainly here in spirit. But we're here because it's important to be here and acknowledge the difficult situation in which the province finds itself. And to be here with Premier Ball and Minister Cathy Bennett, who both have been working so very hard to try and bring attention to the needs of the province, particularly from the federal government. Canadians work hard and take care of each other. And that's where we are, because that is what we do as a country. And as you know, our province of Newfoundland and Labrador has been facing its share of challenges as of late. And I think you've all been following that in the news. But our federal government has been working in partnership with Premier Ball to help us through these challenges. Some of this assistance has been through our fiscal stabilization program. Stabilization provides protection to provinces in the event of extraordinary year-over-year declines in revenues. And as a result of the decline in global oil prices, our province has experienced just such a hit. The Government of Canada reached out to help the province by providing a stabilization payment of $31.7 million in 2015-16. In our federal budget, we took further action to help the people of Newfoundland and Labrador. We designated the entire province as one of the regions qualifying for extended employment insurance regular benefits of 5 weeks for all eligible claimants, and up to an additional 20 weeks of EI regular benefits for long-tenured workers. The budget also took action to help families with children. With the Canada Child Benefit, 9 out of 10 families will receive more money, $2,300 more on average, and hundreds of thousands of children will be lifted out of poverty. Starting in July, this money will go directly into the pockets of families here in Newfoundland and Labrador. Today, I am announcing that we are doing more. We are granting the province a deferral until April 1st of 2022 of loan payments on over $250 million under its repayable floor loan. These are loans that Newfoundland and Labrador and 5 other provinces received to offset their declines in equalization payments back in 2004-05. They came with the condition that loan amounts would be repaid, and the payment for Newfoundland and Labrador was to start this year. Faced with today's challenges, the last thing that Newfoundland and Labrador needs are loan payments on top of the other financial pressures facing the province. To help the province deal with these difficult circumstances, Premier Ball asked Federal Finance Minister Bill Morneau for a deferral of payments on our province's loan until it returns to surplus in 2022, as projected in the 2016 provincial budget. And I'm pleased that both Minister Morneau and the Prime Minister acknowledged the need and responded favorably. As Minister Morneau has said, Canadians expect their governments to work together to help them through hard times. It is because of that spirit that Canada has become the great country that it is. And it is this spirit which inspires us to work cooperatively. Certainly, I can tell you, your federal Liberal MPs in Ottawa work every day to try and make a difference in our province. And we work with our territorial provinces, our territorial partners, and our provincial partners as we implement our plan to grow the economy and ensure a strong, thriving middle class. Today's action will not just support a stronger Newfoundland and Labrador, but a stronger Canada. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Foote. Thank you, and thank you to your colleagues and the MPs. Today, this relief agreement announced represents just one area of what's been a wide range of files that we've been working very closely with our federal counterparts to deliver and enhance the lives of our residents. While our government currently owes the federal government $266.7 million related to equalization overpayment, this announcement today will provide much-needed relief. The intention was to begin to start payment back at a rate of $27 million per year for the next 10 years. So we requested, as Minister Foote mentioned, that the federal government defer these payments in light of our current fiscal situation and as a testament to our partnership that we have agreed. This is just the latest in a series of cooperative agreements that we have had with the federal government, and what we anticipate will lead to several more positive announcements. Just last week, Minister Foote in Arts Delight Islington, she was there to announce significant enhancements to the food fishery on behalf of Minister Tutu, and which we will see an additional 14 days this year for a total of 46 fishing days. This is important to Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, and so this will allow much greater opportunity for our residents to participate in this important activity. We are also honored to have Minister Foote announce the 28 cost-shared municipal infrastructure projects last week. These are valued at $24.4 million, and the importance there is that these projects will move forward in the coming weeks. This will create employment in Newfoundland and Labrador and bring enhancements to infrastructure in our province. And this is thanks in part to the Small Communities Fund, which is a component of the New Building Canada Fund, and it's a program with the federal government. And these are just the first projects to be cost-shared under the program since the provincial and the federal government signed this agreement in March. The agreement will enable the provincial government to access nearly $35 million in federal funding from the Small Communities Fund over the next several years. We have also seen changes to the federal infrastructure programs which relax criteria, allowing a larger number of projects to be improved in our province. The significance about this is that the criteria that was in place was very restrictive and indeed prohibited many projects that we saw that were priorities for us. Because of the criteria, it limited our ability to actually have those projects in many of those priority areas for us. So the minister, with her federal counterparts, they went to bat on our behalf and had that criteria changed. So what we now see is a much broader range of infrastructure projects that's available throughout the province. So, of course, we are pleased with the continued partnership that we have with the federal government as one of the largest. This will be one of the largest provincial road projects in Newfoundland and Labrador, and, of course, that's the Trans-Labrador Highway. And this is an area where the federal government has really removed itself, so they're back in now under a cost-shared arrangement, and this will allow much more work to be done at a faster pace in Labrador. And indeed, we have seen the support from the federal government towards a shifting of the waiving of the tariffs. This was associated with the purchase of the two recent ferries. The federal government has also recognized a downturn in the oil and gas industry, and particularly the effects in this province, and as the minister mentioned, changes to the EI benefits and programs. All of this will help us as a province to weather this fiscal storm and really build a stronger province for the next generation of Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. The deferral today that is announced, albeit not representing anything in the order of the magnitude of our deficit, currently still at $1.8 billion. What it does, however, is it eases some of the financial pressures that we are facing. In Budget 2016 and in the weeks since my government has committed repeatedly that the deficit reduction levy is indeed temporary. So, and I have insisted, the minister has insisted, our colleagues has insisted that my government will phase it out as soon as we possibly could. So today, I am pleased to say that as a result of this additional support from the federal government, we will vary the rules and terms around the temporary deficit reduction levy. We know that some of the difficult decisions we had to make as part of this year's budget would have an impact on Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. Today, we're helping lessen those impacts on the most vulnerable in our society. So today, with the help of this strong relationship with the federal government, we are able to make positive changes to the temporary deficit reduction levy. Changes that will have a real positive impact on residents, especially those on lower incomes and our middle-class families. We're now able to increase the number of people that will not have to pay the temporary deficit reduction levy. Under the original program, close to 38% of tax filers in our province would not pay. Now, with the changes that we'll announce today, 74% of tax filers will not pay. So these changes will allow us to make sure that 74% of tax filers will not pay. So that's 3 out of 4 tax filers in our province. We know that some of the decisions that we have had to make in Budget 2016 were difficult and that they would have an impact on our residents. With the suspension of payments under the Equalization Repayable Floor Loan, we are able to find a way to put money back in the pockets of the residents of our province. So if there's any questions now, I'm going to turn this over to Minister Bennett, and she will explain the threshold and indeed the changes that we will be making to this temporary deficit reduction levy. Ms. Bennett.
So certainly, thank you, Premier Ball, and also would like to thank Minister Foote, as well as all of the Newfoundland and Labrador MPs who are here today for this announcement. It gives me great pleasure to be part of a government that is truly listening to the people of Newfoundland and Labrador. And we know the decisions that were made as part of this year's budget were difficult and difficult for many people, and that's why we maintained our commitment to make decisions as quickly as we could to make changes to the temporary deficit levy. And through our strong relationship with the federal counterparts, we were able to do just that today. Our government is making positive changes to the temporary deficit reduction levy, and the changes will have a positive impact on everyone. With the suspension of the Equalization Repayable Loan, we are now able to, as the Premier has already said, increase the number of people that will have not to pay the temporary deficit reduction levy. And how we've done that, we've increased the threshold to the taxable, from the taxable level from $20,000 to $50,000 taxable, meaning that people making $50,000 of taxable income or less will not have to pay any levy. Further, we are changing the amounts of the levy for those with taxable income of more than $50,000, and we are making the distribution more proportional. For example, a person with a taxable income of $55,000 taxable income will pay $100 in an annual levy, while someone with a taxable income of $100,000 will pay $700 in an annual levy. Those with taxable income between $50,000 taxable and $100,000 taxable can expect to pay less under the redesigned temporary levy, with an estimated, as the Premier has already said, 74% of tax filers paying no levy. That's 3 out of 4 tax filers in Newfoundland and Labrador that will not be paying the deficit levy. This is in response to the concerns we have heard from people of the province about the levy. As soon as we were in a position to make changes, we made them. Newfoundland and Labrador is still facing a serious financial situation and a fiscal situation. We have a $1.8 billion deficit, and we need to all work together to overcome the challenges facing us. We have said from the beginning that the temporary deficit reduction levy is just that, temporary. And we are now in a position to accelerate the phase out by increasing the threshold, and we are still committed to completely eliminating the levy by 2019 or sooner. I want to thank Premier Ball for his continued leadership And I want to recognize the support of our cabinet and our caucus, and of course want to thank our federal counterparts for their support as we continue to work together for our province, Newfoundland and Labrador. Thank you.